Welcome back to That's Camellia podcast. We're going to continue our journey where we're having these real life conversations about life and these episodes that we're going through. So let's join in and let's continue this journey to win this race and continue to cause a ripple in each other's lives that has a lasting impact that goes beyond us. All right. This new year has kind of settled in already, or you're still trying to settle in for this new year. It's already March, and sometimes the roars of life get really loud. And in this episode, I want to talk about the discipline of being laser focused. Sometimes that can be so hard, right? Because the roars of life, the life circumstances get so loud. So, how do you stay moved by your vision rather than your circumstances? Woo! That's a lot, right? How do you stay moved by your vision rather than your circumstances? Well, I want to go back and what I've been thinking about is my bell pepper analogy. If you've been listening to my podcast, you know I've been on this journey to garden my own vegetables. Specifically, the bell peppers. I'm almost there and did reach, quite a bit last year, but I'm still working on that journey of that green onion. But I digress. Back to the bell pepper analogy. So one thing that I have learned through that journey is that just because I can't see the sprout, that seed sprouting, just because I can't see that doesn't mean that the seed isn't working. It's time to I need to stop trying to dig up the seeds if they're growing and start the process. How many of you have done the same thing? You don't see anything, so you just dig up everything and start something else. Well, I want to encourage you to not dig up those seeds, but how about just kind of waiting it out, waiting the process? What that means is we have to, even though we don't see it, continue to plant those seeds, continue to nourish those seeds, water those seeds, and trust the process that the seeds that we've planted will grow. So, thinking about turning out the roar, tuning out the roar. Life circumstances, bills, health, family, job, that's like a roar of a lion, right? So I want to acknowledge the noise without letting it move me off of my laser focus of getting that seed to sprout. Focus isn't the absence of noise. It's the presence of direction. Focus isn't the absence of noise. It's the presence of direction. Think about driving. When you're driving in that middle lane, your focus is that middle lane. You shouldn't be getting distracted by what's going on in the left lane or the right lane, but focus on your direction. So with the bell pepper, it's like trusting what's happening in that dark part, that dark space of the ground in the dirt. So when you plant a bell pepper seed, nothing happens on the surface for a long time. Any seed, when you plant any seed, nothing happens on the surface for a long time. So think about our intention is that we planted the seed with purpose. I planted that seed, that bell pepper seed, on purpose to get some bell peppers, right? And the waiting part of it is not wasted time. I want to call it rooted time, rooting time, right? Because biologically, the fruit definitely has to come from that seed that I planted. It has to come forth. So whatever seed you plant, so let's go back and be mindful of the seeds we're planting with our words, with our mouth, with our laser focus. What are we planting? Think about your life. Think about what you are planting. And then if it's the right seed that you're planting in life, focus on it. have this laser focus and don't be moved by the roars and the activity of our life circumstances, because sometimes they do get loud. Let's acknowledge that. Sometimes we think about happiness. Happiness is when that bell pepper sprouts, when you actually see the bell pepper, when you actually get the harvest. Some people think that's the happiness. But I want to challenge you to find the joy in the moments. Find the joy in the in-between time. Find the joy in watering the seed. Find the joy in moving the dirt around, fertilizing the dirt. Find the time in that. I want to encourage you to do that, because you can't enjoy the process of becoming or getting this bell pepper until you know how to handle it when it comes up. So take the time to do all of those things that you need to do in order to get a good harvest. That means being mindful of what you're saying. So with that, let's have an affirmation for March. I am laser focused on my vision, and I will not be moved by the temporary roars of my circumstances. I trust the seeds I have planted. I am patient with the process, and I choose to find joy in the quiet growth of my in-between moments. That's going to be our March affirmation. So think about it. A noise pivot. That's a good word for it. It's a noise pivot, a noise audit. Identify the loudest roar in your life right now and ask yourself, does this roar change my destination, or is it just making a loud noise? Then I want you to choose one small repetitive action that supports your goal. Do it every day for a week. Intentionally enjoy the fact that you're the person who is keeping that seed alive with your words, with your intention, with your laser focus. Think about it. Let's do our affirmation one more time. I am laser focused on my vision, and I will not be moved by the temporary roars of my circumstances. I trust the seeds I have planted, and I am patient with the process, and I choose to find joy in the quiet growth of my in-between moments. Remember to do a noise audit. What's the loudest roar right now in your life? And ask yourself, does it change your destination, or is it just loud? And if it's just loud, stay focused. All right, that's all we have on That's Camellia podcast. Join me next time as we continue our conversations. Remember to be a ripple in other people's lives, to change the world. Be blessed, and thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. Until next time, remember you can reach out to me at thatscamellia@gmail.com. Have a wonderful week.